Just a small matter. It's a small matter. Happy New Year. And I'm happy to see new faces. It means this year is going to be very new things. And just to wish you well. I know we have not met this year. Last year was hot. I want to assure you this year will be the hottest. The grinding will go on as planned. So mine, I have a simple statement concerning your colleagues. You know, your colleagues in Nandi have been harassed, the media there, and then I'll add one or two issues of national importance. And then we close at that, because I also take cognizance that you need to follow the debates in the plenary session of both houses. And especially that NADCO report is coming at 2:30. The motion on NADCO report is coming up at 2:30, among other, and also in the Law House of the National Assembly. So is the statement on the harassment, blackmail, intimidation, and attacks of journalists in Nandi County and across so many counties. This comes in the backdrop, of course, of a number of journalists who have been either harassed or intimidated or blackmailed. And I know as members of the fourth estate, it should concern you, because I'm told you can work in any part of this country. In the recent past, we have witnessed rising cases of harassment and attacks of journalists, specifically Philip Kipsongok of Chamge FM, where he was attacked by county enforcement agencies at Nandi Hills town last week while covering harassment of traders in the town. He lost a recorder in that scuffle and sustained minor injuries. This comes after the media in Nandi County covered a story of presence of rats in Kapsabet County Referral Hospital and the state of health. And I hope media, you remember that story where rats were straddling at the Kapsabet County Referral Hospital like patients. These are guerrilla attacks of Mr. Sang that are meant to twist, intimidate, and blackmail the media in Nandi County and across the country from impartial, accurate, and reliable reporting on the poor state of affairs in Nandi County and avoiding reporting of such stories. The recent intimidation and attacks in Nandi sub-county by Mr. Sang's militia, who have turned from county investment into his militia, while covering malpractices in the county, has threatened to claw back the gains in the media freedom as enshrined in our Constitution 2010, Article 35 and 34. Noting an ongoing judicial process on this matter, we call upon the police in Nandi County, and specifically Nandi sub-county, to complete and do thorough investigations and ensure justice is served to the attacked journalists. We are aware that governor has been using proxies to intimidate and blackmail journalists, especially after the story came out on the state of health and the appearance before the Senate in County Public Investment Committee, or CPIC, last week. We also call upon the Media Council of Kenya and the Ministry of Interior to ensure journalists have a good working environment, free from Mr. Sang's mercenary imagination masquerading as county askaris. And also this comes at the backdrop of attack and killing and maiming of Meru blocker by the name Sniper. And you remember also in Wasingishu a few years ago, a journalist was attacked and he was killed. This is a tactic that has been employed by county governments and governors to try and cover negative stories that are being run against their governments. And also it undermines accountability and oversight, because the work of the media is very important for the oversight and accountability of resources. In fact, as we talk, it is safer as a media person or journalist to work in Gaza, where war is, than to work in Nandi County as a journalist, because you will never be assured of your security. Therefore, I'm calling the Ministry of Interior, National Coordination, my brother, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to stop this militia by Governor Sang who continues to harass, intimidate, blackmail journalists at whims. And should any journalist be armed in Nandi County or any other part, he must be held personally liable and responsible. All these blackmail and intimidation are carried out by Nandi County enforcement, the proxies and militia of Governor Sang, which have been realized that he has failed to deliver to the people of Nandi. While we know this, Mr. Sang is slowly and painfully running down Nandi County into oblivion of development, where he has even failed to eradicate rats in hospitals. Na mapanya, naomba tu mapanya wasihamie kaunti ya Nandi kwa sababu mapanya wanapatikana katika hospitali ya rufaa wakitembea kama wagonjwa. Na ameshindwa hata kuua mapanya na ile rat and rat. Sasa hata atuulizi atusaidie tu kuua mapanya, atuombe tena madawa ya hospitali kwa sababu kama ameshinda kuua mapanya, sasa dawa haitapatikana. Hata mabarabara azipitiki na mambo ya basari tunaonea view sasa. And roads are impassable, lack of drugs in hospital, non-availability of bursaries, and mysterious disbursement and marginalized allocations of development and demoralized county staff. This comes at the background that despite the allocation of about 40 billion in the last 6 years, there is nothing to write home about. I know there are active investigations by EACC. I want to ask them to speedily conclude the flouting of procurement, among others, of medical insurance cover of 300 million, and also the dubious acquisition of a printer of 2.9 million that was acquired by individual officers that has compromised the procurement, among other variation of other projects like the Nandi County Creameries that had been estimated at 300 million, but now had been varied to 1 billion. If we had EACC, which was functional, the grand corruption that we continue to witness in our counties would not be there. And therefore, I think in future, as a country, we must have a conversation on whether we need to disband EACC and give powers to DCI and strengthen DCI on Economic Crimes Act. Because most of the corruption cases that are reported by counties are always active or in investigation. Because what we have with EACC is that they compromise investigation of the officers, go and visit the accused, they expose the witnesses who should be under protection, and then they make sure wanaonana nyuma ya tent. Therefore, the biggest threat to the growth, expansion of devolution is ineptitude, ineffectiveness, and moribancy of EACC in handling some of these economic crime cases. So going into the future, I know somebody might say it is a protected institution under the Constitution, but the Bible says we don't need to serve the law. It is the law to serve us. So we can review at any given time. Because which case have they concluded in prosecuting? They have never. Even anywhere in the devolution. So the biggest threats now in the growth and flourish of devolution in our counties are two things: corruption and intimidation and blackmail of media. And I know you have your colleagues across counties. Whenever your colleagues report what governors perceive as negative stories against them, they always go for them through either intimidation or blackmail and harassment, as we have seen in Nandi County. So nataka niulize wizara ya masuala ya ndani wahakikishie usalama waandishi wa habari kutoka kaunti ya Nandi, kwa sababu tunapoongea wengi wao wametishiwa maisha yao kwa kuandika story ya kwamba kuna panya walikuwa wanatembea hospitalini. Na hiyo ni kazi ya media. Na nataka niulize governor afanye kazi mzuri. Sidhani media itakataa kucover ye. If they do positive things, I don't think media will refuse. So as they are happy that media is covering good things, they should also be excited that media is covering negative, because it assists in oversight and prudent use of resources. So hiyo nataka nimuulize wizara ya usalama ya ndani, nataka niulize Media Council of Kenya wasaidie waandishi wa habari, Na tumeona, unajua, the reason we are coming out strongly to condemn these acts ya county ya Nandi na Governor Sang kutumia majambazi wake kuangaisha waandishi wa habari. Tuliona kuna kijana aliuawa Meru kinyama hapa. We don't take it for granted. Tuliona kuna miaka iliyopita mwandishi wa habari na mnajua aliuawa pale Eldoret. So if we continue encouraging this, even your lives as media as a whole, even in Nairobi, will always be under threat. So I want to encourage that let us come out, be proactive. Media is the only tool that our people will know what is happening, will assist us in transparency. Na ndio maana iliwekwa katiba katika article 34 and 35. So it must be protected at all costs so that going into the future. Ya mwisho ni kusema ya kwamba vile umesikia sasa kiongozi wa Azimio anataka kuwa mwenyekiti wa AU. Sisi tunamuuliza tu Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta awache kusponsor aliyekuwa rais wa Tanzania Mheshimiwa Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete. Baba ameumia sana na tunafikiri hii kiti itasaidia aendelee kupumzika na afanye kazi kwa nchi ya Afrika. So we are aware kuna watu wanamdanganya aliyekuwa rais wa Tanzania Jakaya, kwa hiyo kitu ya AU itasimama. Hata watasimamisha yeye. Tunajua Uhuru Kenyatta hajapona tangu tumshinde 2022. Tunamuuliza kwa heshima vile Kenya yote imekubali kwa baba Raila Odinga akuwe mwenyekiti wa AU. Sasa yeye mwenyewe sasa awache kutumia vigaragosi kama aliyekuwa rais wa Tanzania. Ndio Kenya to present one candidate East Africa tuweze kuchukua hiyo kiti, ndio tuende mbele. Na sasa unajua baba anapojitayarisha sasa kuomba hiyo kiti haitaombwa na chama cha ODM ama Azimio, itaombwa na serikali. So ni mambo matatu tu wafanye. Tunataka tu aombe msamaha wa Kenya kwa sababu wakati kulikuwa na maandamano Wakenya wengi waliumia na biashara ziliangamia. Ya pili aweke loyalty kwa serikali ya Rais William Ruto. Kwa sababu kupata hiyo kiti itabidi serikali ndio italobby. The government will use its own resources kumwombea hiyo kiti katika nchi za mbalimbali apate kiti ya AU. Na ya tatu sasa unajua wale watu wa Azimio na wale wengine waache kupiga serikali vita. Sasa tunataka wote tuweke kampeni ya kusaidia baba akuwe AU chairman. Najua the reason most of na nimeona ODM wameitisha what you call crisis meeting. Ni kwa sababu watu wengi kwa ODM walikuwa wameshika koti ama shati ya baba ndio wakuwa political relevant. I know in 2027 we will attend so many political funerals of people who have depended on Tinga doing politics. Na tunawapea risala za rambirambi za kisiasa mapema. Kwa sababu baba anapoenda kuretire kwa siasa watu wengi wataangamia kisiasa. So we want to appeal that going into the future wale aliyekuwa rais awache, najua amesikia uchungu kwa sababu baba amemwacha. Kwa sababu yeye alikuwa anajaribu kutingiza serikali kupitia mambo mbalimbali. Ya mwisho vile jana tulikuwa parliamentary group meeting ya Kenya Kwanza na serikali na cabinet. Sisi tutaenda mbele kuweka ile agenda. Mmejua kuna affordable housing inakuja leo National Assembly, na sisi kama Senate tutakuwa tayari tupitishe ndio serikali ipate nafasi ya kwenda mbele. Na hiyo ndio kitu ambayo nilitaka kusema. Kuhusiana na barabara za kaunti za Nandi, tulikubaliana zile barabara zilitakana kuweka lami ziwekwe kwa njia ya njia iliyo wazi. Lakini baada ya mimi kuongea na nyinyi mwaka jana, Waziri Murkomen alituma machines wakati rais alikuwa anafanya ziara kule Nandi. Baada ya rais kutoka akakusanya machines zake za barabara akaenda. Tunapoongea zile barabara zote hakuna machine ameweka pale. So tunataka kumwambia awache kudanganya wakaaji wa kaunti ya Nandi. We want the delivery of those roads. And I'm not saying barabara za kaunti nyingine itolewe iwekwe Nandi. Nataka tu za Nandi zifanyike. Zile za Nandi za kaunti za Nandi. So we are going to hold everybody to their job. Kama umepewa kazi, Kama mbunge, fanya kazi ya sheria. Kama umepewa kazi ya upinzani, fanya oversight. Kama umepewa kazi, so I will not relent. So I want to assure you, kwa sababu nimeona watu wengi wakiulizwa katika mitandao na media, hatutarudi nyuma mpaka zile barabara ambazo earmarked zikuwe delivered in time, because we cannot operate. For example, let me give you, as I conclude, I didn't intend to take long. There is a 19-kilometer road called Nandil-Zimaki. That road serves more than 10 tea factories. And you know, one of the major exports, this country is tea. So a 19-kilometer road serving 10 tea factories, each worth 500 million, times 10, and they generate to close to $1 billion in a year in revenue to this country, and we cannot fix such road, then there is a problem. And it is only 19 kilometers. It's called Nandil-Zimaki Road. Of course, among other roads in Nandi, like Tulwa, Chepterwai, all the way to Western Kenya, we have the expansion from Eldoret all the way to Kisumu, to Vihiga. There is one in Amisi. There is one that is connecting from Kisumu, Mamboleo, Kibos, all the way to Maraba, to Timborwa. Then it joins this highway that we want to do Mau Summit, the expansion from Uplands to Mau Summit. All those roads are very critical because Nandi, among other North Rift and South Rift, it is the breadbasket of our area. So I want to assure the people of Nandi, we shall ensure those roads are fixed in fullness of time. But I want to ask my brother to stop playing cheap PR. If it is available, let it be available. If it is not, don't lie to the people by doing PR, because we want delivery. I know there are many counties who have similar and challenge problems. So with those very, very remarks, asanteni sana, na watakia kila laheri. Tufanye kazi pamoja. God bless you. Maybe one or two questions, then